Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Łukasz Sułkowski. Thank you very much for the invitation to Collegium Civitas for the opening of the Institute of Management. I'm very glad that the orientation of the Institute will be humanistic management. So on the invitation of Dr. Michał Szostak, I prepare my presentation about the humanistic management. And I would like to begin with a classic metaphor of Gareth Morgan. I mean, an elephant and the blinds, right? Humanistic management is a part of the perspective in management sciences, and going on with cognitive endeavor, we can have the many perspective. One of them, important one, is taken out from the humanistic sciences. We can perceive it like an epistemology of the organization and management that in consequences builds a methodology and also practical methods of the management of the organizations. Epistemology will take into account many cognitive assumptions, like meaning of the discipline, basic terms, kind of the scientific methods that are proposed, paradigms, metaphors, ideologies, paradoxes, and so on and so on. On the level of the methodology of cognition, we will have the many research methods and research techniques that can be splitted on the several axes. And on the level of the pragmatic method, we have thus organizational and management methods, techniques of management, how to lead, how to organize, how to make the managerial decisions. Taking into account humanistic management, we would like to emphasize that this is the kind of the non-fundamentalistic epistemology that, let's say, ambiguous and variable definition of the organization and the subject of the management, depending on the field. If we are saying about the kind of the inspiration taken out from art, for example, which is the subject of interest of Michał, we can perceive many possible interpretations, perceive management as an art, as an craft, as an science, and play in between of these different kind of the understanding and practice. Let's say different concept of research itself, relationships between object and subject, understanding of the truth, definition of the rationality, fundamentalistic definition of the rationality. It's management of science as a fully rational endeavor. In non-fundamentalistic epistemology, management science, art and craft as a cultural endeavor. So a kind of the tension in between these two ways of understanding the problem of the limit of a discipline. Let's say from the fundamentalistic epistemology, always thinking about the strong barriers, like silos of the management. And for non-fundamentalistic epistemology, the subject of management has been fluid, changing boundaries, blurred boundaries, and this is the source of the creativity, right? Okay, so we can even go farther, going on from fundamentalism in methodology, like necessity of use scientific method, one scientific method, usually this neo-positivistic one, no possibility to use the mixed method. Let's say question of the one method as the maturity of the discipline and the verification or falsification as a meta method of understanding. in humanistic management, we are going on more with a pluralistic approach. Many scientific methods, possibility to use the mixed method, and the criteria of cognitive efficiency, a pragmatic or a neo-pragmatic approach to explanation. We can also mention the eclecticism and anarchism going on with Paul Feyerabend term. However, I think that the main tension is in management is in between of the fundamentalism and pluralism in methodology. Okay, going on with some kind of the illustration of that, management and the quality sciences. This is the official name of the discipline in Poland. Very strange, actually, if we are trying to translate it into English. It sounds, what does it mean, this quality? This is the qualitative approach. This is the quality management. What is the source of that? This is just the illustration of these boundaries and the historical, social and cultural determinants of the scientific disciplines. In Poland, 2018, it was done the reform of science, and the names of the many disciplines has been changed. And in management, historically, because of the economical universities, the discipline that was concentrated on the knowledge of the materials was added to management. So we have management and quality sciences like this part of the quality management. Strange, historical, Polish, tough to translate in the other direction. Just the illustration from here. We know that the management is like an umbrella. We are using many approaches taken out from the engineering, economical sciences, even life sciences, and also humanities. And this is the focus of this lecture: organization as an activity approach, management like a social process, intersubjective perspective, symbolic interactionism, or critical approach, methodology, inductive, deductive, but also constructivist social research method, and the concentration on the social processes. Of course, we must return to the classical term of the paradigm by Thomas Kuhn, because management is multi-paradigm science. Even humanistic management is a multi-paradigm. We cannot show the one dominant school or one dominant approach. So thinking about the paradigms as a consensus omnium, we are not thinking about the consensus omnium of most of the management scholars or even most of the humanistic management scholars. And it's like looking outside of the box, looking outside of the existing perspective. As a multi-paradigm science, we have a diversity of approaches, schools, lack of the common epistemological assumptions that are for all of these schools, disputed basic concepts, even organization, management, strategy, or organizational structure, many methods of research, and in some way, we can be similar to other humanistic and social sciences. Different possibility of make the paradigm classification. So we can go on with the sub-disciplines of the management and tell, okay, this is the strategic management, marketing, human resources management, and so on and so on. However, it will be quite dispersed perspective, and from the other side, we cannot use this perspective splitting humanistic management versus the other approaches, because, for example, in management or in human capital management, we can use both perspectives, functionalistic and humanistic. Schools of management by chronology. What we are teaching students, yes, scientific management, founder Frederick Winslow Taylor, and then administrative management, and the human relations school, Elton Meyer, and so on and so on. Here, this historical approach doesn't work, especially after Second World War, where we have the big split and the specialization in the whole discipline. Different researchers proposing their own perspective, like Mary Jo Hedge, Paul Johnson, and Douberly, Bowman, and Deal. This is different way how to describe the paradigms. It looks that the proposal of the split of the paradigms proposed by Barrell and Morgan is the most dispersed, the most popular in management. Actually, I have the pleasure to participate in an American Academy of Management conference several years ago, when the prize for Barrell and Morgan was given from the grateful community of organizational researchers. That meaning of this concept of the paradigms is crucial. Of course, using this split, we can say we are thinking about the social and humanistic sciences not only as some kind of the mirroring of the reality, some kind of the description of the reality. This is just one function of the science, but actually function of the humanistic sciences, philosophy before used to be also changing the world, right? So making this division, we can build some kind of the four paradigms: functionalism, which is concentrated on the objective perspective and description of the reality using the causal perspective; interpretativism, that is characteristic to humanistic approach and take into account cultural, interpretative, sense-making approach; critical theory, from the definition, radical approach, and these kind of the greed of power that is hidden under the social and organizational reality, and the postmodernism, looking at the neo-positivistic, functionalistic, systemic paradigm. This is the perspective that is quite rare if we are using the humanistic approach. However, we can use it as a part of the mixed method. For example, we can use the program of research that is quantitative and qualitative and join together these points of view. So verification of truth using objective quantitative methods, analytical approach, and the axiological neutrality. This is we as researchers, we are the outside observers, right? So quantitative methodology, statistically representative, standardized, respondent control, survey method, observational method, para-experimental methods, documentary methods, used in many areas of the management. However, if we want to criticize a bit quantophrenic approach, everything we would like to measure. This is like Lord Kelvin proverb: if I cannot measure something in science, do not exist. We know from humanistic perspective, this is not the reality. Many insights taken out from from art, from humanistic sciences, cultural anthropology, even philosophy, they do not give us opportunity to measure. And the measure, especially taken out this quantophrenic approach, it's a kind of the danger of lack of the dialogue with the respondent, a lack of the reflexivity in the interpretation process. So we can say maybe in many cases less representativeness in research in management, but more deep understanding. So interpretivistic approach or interpretivistic symbolism arose in opposition to functionalism, George Herbert Mead, inspiration from cultural anthropology, sociology, psychology, and the approach is social constructivism, a cognitive role of the language, entanglement of cognitive activities in practice, and of course, qualitative methodology. This social constructivism means that we are shaping the reality, that the reality is created by the human actors, that we are builders of the reality, and it is intersubjective reality, mainly in a network of people in our heads, right? Social constructivism and the creation of the reality was used by many scholars in management. We can mention a classic one approach to leadership, strategic management by Carl Wake, for example. So meaning of the language and the cultural relative is entanglement in practice. So we are changing the reality, we are shaping the reality, and then we are changing the perception and interpretation of this reality. So management is the symbolic activity, organization is the symbolic activity. Interpretativist methodology is in some way common with the humanistic sciences and or humanistic orientations in sciences like cultural anthropology, sociology, or psychology. And we can mention just psychological methods of management taken out from Gestalt, for example, anthropology of organization, ethnomethodology, sociology of intervention, a grounded theory, of course, as an important part of the humanistic methodology, methods of case studies, extended case studies, comparative case studies, participatory action research as an intervention. This part of the approach that we would like to intervene in a reality because we are not neutral observers. We are axiologically involved in this reality. And we can look for conversational analysis, discourse, text analysis using the qualitative approach here. So as in neo-positivistic functionalistic orientation, we will have the one canonic scientific method which is used to verification or falsification. Here we have a jungle of the methods using these humanistic inspirations and use for interpretivistic research of organizational culture and identity, image, human management, change management, information management, strategic management, and so on and so on. If we want to be the critical to this methodology, it is very heterogeneous. It's the results that are tough to compare. It is not suitable for studying mass processes and phenomena, from definition subjective, which is strong, and the weak side, of course. It raises problems sometimes with the reliability of the results, and the involvement of the researcher may raise ethical objections, like, for example, auto anthropology or dual anthropology. It's very easy to identify the description of the other people, and it must be very careful crafted from one side to give the deep insight, from the other side not to be harmful for the people. And then critical management studies, very important part of the contemporary management discourse, this radical vision of the organization and management, using the power perspective, rooted in radical visions of the panopticon of Michel Foucault, neo-Marxist, Frankfurt School approach, and so on and so on. What is important here, it's like the mirror of the discipline that is in danger to be too instrumentalist, concentrating only on the market, only or mainly on the competition, on the economical part of the endeavor. Part of the management scholars may forget about this critical part, that even using the approach of the resources to human, like in the name of the subdiscipline, human resources management, we are treating people instrumentally. Yes, and the critical management studies using qualitative methods, deep reflexive methods of the emancipation, intervention, using parities, making kind of the demystification of the instrumental management practices, can show us that marketing can be very instrumental, manipulative subdiscipline. Strategic management can be just the discourse of the control of the people and the organization, taken into account mainly the interest of the owners and the power holders in the organization. That human resources management can be treated like a group of the technique instrumentally using the people in the organization. And the critics is one side of the critical management studies, and the development of the more humanistic approach to the organization, to the people, more equal, more sustainable, more really ethic-oriented. By ethic, I mean here human ethic, and not a manager's ethic or a enterprise ethic that is limited deontology. Here, critical management studies want to have the wider approach. And the last that I don't want to take too much time is postmodernism. I think that postmodernism is losing ground, and actually the role of the postmodernists is taken out by the critical management studies and interpretative approach. This is probably because of such a skeptical approach to science, to scientific truth, and in some way it makes the science as an endeavor, even this let's say soft approach, not the research but an inquiry, it makes in some way endeavor that is not possible under the radical postmodernistic approach. So my perspective is that actually critical management studies and the interpretativist approach are main paradigms for humanistic perspective in this moment. So wrapping up the today's lecture, today's speech, this is the part of the cognitive reflection in management that focused on humanistic management. Even in humanistic management, we have the multi-paradigm view. We can see that from the Barrel and Morgan perspective by the lenses of the interpretativism or radical approach, or the other one, but we have no possibility to build a, let's say, one paradigm for humanistic management in this moment. We will be in many areas here. Pluralism, methodological pluralism, it's an obvious meta-methodological approach in humanistic management, which is a strong side because we are going deep with a reflexivity. We can even use the multi-paradigm perspective to one research. From the other side, we can have the problem of the incommensurability of the phenomena that we would like to describe. So thank you very much for the today's lecture. I hope that in some way this is the basic epistemological reflection about the humanistic management. I would like to wish Michał, Dr. Michał Szostak, Collegium Civitas, and all of the participants of today's inauguration, that the development of this humanistic branch in the Polish non-public important university will be developing and will go on with new exciting opportunities for all of us. Thank you very much for your attention.